Hey guys, welcome back. WS Model Railroaders here. Today we're going to be working on the QUARRY. I already got a little bit started on it, but I figured might as well do a video of kind of the stuff that I'm doing with it. We got some ballasting we're doing on the ground there, and then obviously painting, detailing, stuff like that, weathering, and then also adding additional lighting features to the building itself. So I figured might as well get that on recording so you guys can see what I do. Without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So first things first, I've already got the QUARRY built, and I've already started running my wires. So basically, I'm using my LEDs that I use in the trains very often. 2mm, 12 volt, already have resistors installed. And I just ran extension leads so that they're long enough and I can eventually just wire it all to one wire lead rather than having multiple. So basically I just got it hot glued down there. And then you can see I got some cardboard as well. Let's see if we can get better video. And what that is for is basically it's a piece of cardboard cut in a circle, and then I cut a hole in the middle and a little slit so that I can kind of give it an angle. Basically what that's doing is it's shielding the light from coming up, so when I paint this, the light may be exposed from, you might be able to see paint streaks or something like that from the top, but pretty much if you don't cover that light, it's just going to shine up through the paint, through the ceiling, whatever. So I'm kind of preventing that by putting the cardboard there, so it's just shining down and around rather than straight up into your paint. And I'm also kind of hoping that it doesn't shine through. As you can see through the plastic here. So what I'm trying to do is avoid the light shining through the plastic even when it's painted, to kind of make it more realistic. So that's why I got those little housings. What I also did was, you'll see I got little light posts. This actually probably, well, it came with the kit, but it's not designed for what I'm using it for. So you can see all these little lamps here. So basically those I keep all my parts from all the other kits that I don't use, and I kind of reuse them for, kit bashing, stuff like that. So what these are actually, if you're familiar with kind of ground posts, this was actually supposed to be mounted to here, like so. So I didn't even use them, and I ended up just cutting these pieces out to make light housings. Because now what I'll do is I'll take my LEDs here, which I'll have to leave a link in the description for. But pretty much these don't have resistors installed, so what I have to do is I have to basically preload them with resistors. But then what I do is I'll drill a hole right underneath, shove the light on through. Probably not going to come this way. I'll probably have to shove it through this way, and then basically just glue it there, so that way I have a light sitting down at the bottom here shining down. And then what I'll do is I'll just wire it like the rest of them, all to one harness, and then basically just have one wire lead leading to the whole building, so it's nice and easy and accessible. So I'm going to continue getting these wired up, and then we'll probably get into weathering pretty soon here. I should also mention real quick with these LEDs, they do come with multiple different resistor sizes, and it does have a tag on there that says what voltage to use them for. So like there's a pack of resistors here that come with it that's 1 to 9 volt. There's one here that says 1 to 14 volt, and then this one here is 3.5 to 5 volts. So depending on what your power source is, you can use different size resistors. I'm just using the 1 to 14 volt because I'm just wiring it to my regular harness, which all the other stuff is hooked up to on 12 volts, so make it easy for myself. Okay, we got all our wires roughed for the most part. I just got them coming through the holes. So one thing to also note with these LEDs, these are actually slightly coated, so it may look like bare wires touching bare. That sucks. It may look like bare wires touching bare wire, but it's coated, so it's not until you actually get to the end leads where you need to separate them or insulate them, because that is where it's actual metal contact. So I'm gonna clean these up, get them on wire harnesses, and eventually have another harness just like this that they all bridge to. Okay, we got it cleaned up for the most part. Got a nice main coming in. I decided to stick with just a main rather than just connecting it to one cable, because that's going to go through the floor, and then at that point there's going to be a junction where I will have just one lead going to those, and that's just going to be split off by something kind of similar to this. These are just snaps, so it's easier to disconnect the wires and stuff like that. So you open up the little clip there, shove the wire through, and then it snaps down on it, And then if you need to remove it, you just pull it back up, pull the wire through. So nice and easy. So that's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna go ahead and get this in its spot and then get our hole drilled. As you can see down here, this is very off. That's because we didn't really make our track very straight, and we got a foot section that's got to be straight. Unfortunately, we didn't really pre-plan that. I also think that I'm doing this a little different than we had pre-planned, because you can see my marks on here. That's where I traced it. I couldn't really figure out how we were planning on doing it, so this is kind of what I like for setup, just because it leaves a lot of space right here. It also makes sense for trucks pulling in and out through the hole there, which goes all the way through. So this is kind of what we're going to stick with, and what I'll have to do is probably just cock this over a little bit. It's already glued, so I'll just have to cock it a little bit down here, and I'll kind of make it look a little bit better. But we're going to go ahead and make sure our lights are all good to go before I get to any ballasting or anything like that. And I also got to weather it too, so yeah, we'll kind of go from there. And I already have a wire lead from our penthouse up here going down, which, I think about it, I probably didn't show you guys that. So last video we talked about putting the trees down and all that fun stuff, so I kind of just finished it off a little bit more in the front, put some static grass down, and then also did some kind of formations up here just to bring the elevation up a little bit. And then I ordered this little guy on Amazon for about 10 bucks. It was a 3D printed lookout tower, and it wasn't that great to put together. It's the first material I've experienced for modeling that didn't work with super glue, so that thing is all hot glued together. Hot glue worked very well. I also added some details on the inside, so once I get the lights up and running for this thing, I can show you the lights in there too, because I'll have the lights on. But this is what it's looking like now. There's still some stuff we need to fill in, as well as right here, but basically I just wanted to get everything done over here that I didn't need to jump up here to get to. So now everything that I may need to touch up is in reach, so I won't necessarily need to climb on the layout to get back there. So that's what we're looking like there. All right, just like that, looks like all our lights are on and doing what they're supposed to. So this is what I was talking about with our little olive tower. So you can see we got some people in there, nice little light. Unfortunately, I actually just noticed this, but we have some bleed through on top. But yeah, that's what I was referring to with the disc. So you can see there is bleed through. It's not going to be as bad, just because right here is the brightest part. So at least I covered that. So hopefully the paint, for the most part, will cover that up. That kind of looks like it's the worst bleed through. Right here is getting bleed through from that light, which these are going to be dimmed. I'm going to end up painting some more yellow on them. Well, maybe not, just because it's more of an industrial color. You know, they use the white light rather than more of the yellow light. Man, I'm starting to realize it's really dark over here. We need to get some street lights in there. We got the street lights, I'm just not worried about it right now, so that's something Mark can get done. But yeah, lights look good, they're all working. I don't see any wires really too visible, maybe right there. But other than that, I think it turned out pretty good. So I'm gonna grab some paint, probably gonna do a base coat. I'm thinking we're gonna do airbrush a base coat on there, and then we'll paint hand brush, just because it's gonna be faster to get a primer on there. Okay, so I ended up actually using spray paint, just because the airbrush was pissing me off, for our primer at least. So I sprayed the whole thing in primer, gray primer, just like you see here. And then I just airbrushed down here a lighter tannish color on the bottom edge there. So there's not much bleed through anymore. There was quite a bit once I put the primer on, but I still got some stuff drying there, and it looks like we got a little bit of bleed through here. It's worse on the camera than it is in person, actually. It's not that bad. But pretty much, I got a couple more layers to do yet. This, I'm gonna do more of a bronze color, so that's probably gonna be next, and then we're gonna add some rust. So, I just got a couple colors here. I got brown, black, white, red, and orange. So basically, we're gonna be doing colors of kind of like water that has been, sitting or running down a certain spot throughout the building multiple times, kind of under windows and stuff like that. And then I got some other colors to kind of give us some rust colors so we can indicate, kind of more rusting areas, as well as, where the water might be too. So, I also got a glass of water right next to me because I'm going to water down these colors quite a bit to kind of make it look very runny. So, first things first, let's go ahead and try and get a good rust color going. So maybe I'll take some brown and black to darken up that brown a bit. You don't need a lot of black because that's just going to overcome a lot of the color. Take some red, add that in there. And a little bit more orange. Whoops. So that's a pretty good color, I'd say. So I'm just going to go around kind of under windows. For rust and stuff, for windows and stuff, I kind of like to get some black in there too right away. So I'm just going to hit right under and then kind of, make it look like a teardrop. You don't want to mimic it on every window so it doesn't look the same. So I'll kind of maybe add 2 to this side instead, or kind of even it out like so. Add it in random spots. Crease there, and maybe right on the corner here. After that, I'm gonna wash off my brush. Now we're just gonna hit it with water a little bit, so it's dried a little bit, but we can at least grab paint that's still a little wet. Kind of move it around. So now I think we're just going to touch up some spots with black on the airbrush, and then we'll kind of go from there. I think that'll do it for painting, besides maybe touching up the lamps here and the staircase and door. Pretty much should be good. So next, real quick, before we get close to ballasting, I'm gonna hit up our rock formations over here and match it up to that color pretty much just with the airbrush, and then we should be good to go ballast. So there's been a lot of changes since. So for the ballasting, we decided to cut a hole into here for a tunnel just because we wanted these conveyors to go a certain way, and this is kind of what we thought looked best. So basically we're raising up some spots and then having a truck come out from in the hole there just to make a little bit more sense of all the conveyors. So I'm currently gluing these foam pieces down, then I'm going to fill the gaps with caulk, and then we're going to start putting the ballast on top, and this is going to be our main color. I'm going to put this on top actually just because I don't have as much of it, and more of this buff color. That's going to be my base, and then I'm going to sprinkle the lighter stuff on top to kind of give it some different colors. So now that we've got plate pieces in place, I'm going to fill in the gaps with some caulk just so that I don't use as much rocks, you know, filling in all these holes. Okay, got our caulk laid down, our foam laid down, so this should save us a lot of material when we start dumping the ballast. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that now. That's what we got. We got some just different grading pretty much. I think it's looking pretty good. And now I just need to simply grab a paintbrush, get the ballast off the tracks there, as well as over here and anywhere that I might be gluing near tracks. I don't want to necessarily, I got to touch up like some spots right there. You know, maybe brush it back into the corner a little bit. But that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna start gluing this all down, and I didn't glue the building down at all, so pretty much when I glue the stone, it's gonna kind of absorb into the building, so the building will stay where it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So once this is all dry, I'll probably come in, do some weathering for kind of make it seem like there's traffic coming in and out, so it looks a little bit more realistic. But yeah, that pretty much sums up doing the quarry for now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, hopefully you learned something, and let me know if you have any tips or suggestions for me. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next video.